Dak's great. So if you're not outstanding in the trait stuff, and I like Shedeur, and he's not. I do think his accuracy is an excellent trait. I'll even argue with Greg Cosell. I think he throws a really beautiful, catchable ball. He's an easy thrower, but I would like to say Herbert's this. Herbert just comes out and the ball's accurate. C.J. Stroud. Ball comes out on platform, off, left, right, up, back. C.J. Stroud's accurate. Herbert's accurate. I think Shedeur, and I also think he moves much. He's not Dion. Everybody says, well, he got his mom's athletic ability. Well, his mom must be a good athlete because he moves well. And Shedeur had a good game.
Colin Cowherd just dropped a bombshell that has the NFL world buzzing. Shedeur Sanders isn't just another rookie quarterback. He's a legitimate franchise player with a better arm than Dak Prescott. But here's where it gets controversial. While praising Shedeur's physical tools and accuracy, Cowherd also issued a stern warning that could make or break the young quarterback's career. With 30% of NFL executives already writing off another highly touted rookie in Caleb Williams, and Shedeur making questionable decisions with local media that have Cowherd questioning his judgment, we're about to dive into why this Browns quarterback might be walking the same dangerous path that destroyed Johnny Manziel and Baker Mayfield, or why he could be the next Dak Prescott success story. Look, I'm going to be straight with you guys. What happened this past week in Cleveland has completely changed the conversation around Shedeur Sanders. And Colin Cowherd, who's been one of the most honest voices in sports media, just laid out exactly why this kid could be special. But first, let me tell you what just went down that has everyone talking. Friday night against Carolina, Shedeur Sanders stepped onto that NFL field for the first time and showed exactly what Cowherd has been saying all along. 14 of 23 completions, 138 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. But here's what the stat sheet doesn't tell you. This kid looked like he belonged. While other rookie quarterbacks are getting buried by NFL executives in anonymous surveys, Shedeur was out there operating like a veteran. And you know what? The timing of this performance couldn't be more perfect, because just days before, Colin Cowherd was defending this exact narrative. When people were saying the Browns were trying to sabotage Shedeur by starting him in preseason, Cowherd shut that nonsense down immediately. He said what we're all thinking. You don't draft a quarterback in the 5th round just to sabotage him. That makes 0 sense. But here's where Cowherd's analysis gets really interesting, and why I think he's absolutely right about Shedeur being franchise quarterback material. Let's break down what he said, because this is where it gets good.
So when you're not, the traits aren't A, Dak had so much self-awareness. I said this from the very beginning. Dak was one of those strangely mature guys at like 23. Dak was 23 going on 33. Jalen Hurts, who's not real big and not a great pocket guy, he's like 27 going on 47. So this is where Shedeur has got to get that stuff tightened up. Don't worry about what local media says. Like just stay away from that stuff. And Cleveland fan, sit it out. You've been telling me for years that stuff doesn't matter. I've been right three out of 3 times. You got rid of Baker.
Cowherd looked at Shedeur and said something that should make every Browns fan excited. His size, his arm, his mobility are all good enough to be a franchise quarterback. I think his accuracy is really good moving and stationary. I think he throws a better ball than Dak. Think about that for a second. Dak Prescott just signed a massive contract extension, and Cowherd is saying Shedeur has a better arm than him. That's not just praise. That's a declaration that this kid has elite physical tools, and Friday night proved it. When Shedeur rolled out of the pocket and delivered that perfect strike for his first NFL touchdown, you could see exactly what Cowherd was talking about. The ball just comes out different. It's not just accurate, it's catchable, it's on time, it's placed where only his receiver can get it. But here's where Cowherd's analysis gets really deep, and why I think he's spot on about what separates good quarterbacks from great ones. He said Shedeur is 6 feet 2 inches, 218, easily accurate, moves very well. All the physical tools are there. But then he dropped this truth bomb that every quarterback needs to hear. Look at Tom Brady. Cowherd pointed out that Brady doesn't move at all, doesn't have a huge arm, but was the best ever at everything else. The mental game, the preparation, the leadership, the pre-snap reads. That's what made Brady Brady. And that's exactly what Shedeur needs to focus on. Now, here's where this gets controversial and where Cowherd issued that warning I mentioned. He talked about seeing Shedeur after the game seeking out a local radio host. And while it wasn't hostile, Cowherd's message was clear: get out of there. Don't look for sympathy and support from local radio guys. Watch film, and you know what? He's absolutely right. Look at the Browns' track record with quarterbacks. Johnny Manziel? Too worried about the spotlight. Baker Mayfield? Too many commercials, not enough focus on the fundamentals. Deshaun Watson? Well, we all know how that turned out. Cowherd has been saying this for years, and Browns fans kept telling him, it's not that serious, Colin. But guess what? He's been right every single time. That's why when he says Shedeur needs to tighten up the judgment and maturity side of his game, we better listen. But here's the twist that makes this whole story so compelling, and why I think Shedeur is going to prove all the doubters wrong. Unlike those other guys, Shedeur has something different. He's got that Dak Prescott level self-awareness that Cowherd talked about. After that impressive debut performance, when the sideline reporter asked him about his night, Shedeur said, I don't feel like I took full advantage of the opportunity. It's something to work on. That's not arrogance. That's not entitlement. That's a quarterback who knows he can be better, even after throwing 2 touchdowns in his NFL debut. That response right there? That's exactly what Cowherd means when he talks about maturity and self-awareness. Dak Prescott had that at 23. Peyton Manning had that his whole career. And now we're seeing glimpses of it from Shedeur. The physical tools are obvious. Standing next to regular people, Shedeur looks like what you'd draw up if you were creating the perfect quarterback. He's 6 feet 2 inches, carries his weight well, has that natural throwing motion that just looks effortless. When he drops back and surveys the field, he looks the part. But what impressed me most about Friday night wasn't just the stats. It was how he handled different situations. He executed plays under center, rolled out of the pocket when necessary, made throws off play action, and was deadly in the red zone. That's not just arm talent. That's football IQ. And here's what has me really excited about Shedeur's future. The competition he's in right now is actually perfect for his development. Cleveland has Kenny Pickett, they've got Tyler Huntley, they've got depth at the position. Shedeur isn't being thrown to the wolves like some rookies. He's earning his opportunities. Kevin Stefanski said after the game that there are things that Shedeur can clean up, and he will clean up. But you could hear the optimism in his voice. This coaching staff sees something special. Now, let's talk about what this means for the Browns moving forward, because Cowherd laid out something really interesting. He mentioned that Cleveland has multiple first-round picks in 2026, including Jacksonville's pick. Some people think they should use those to draft another quarterback. But what if Shedeur keeps developing like this? The recent reports show that Shedeur's performance could edge him up the depth chart. And honestly, after what we saw Friday night, I'm starting to think Cleveland might have found their answer without needing to spend those premium picks on another quarterback. Think about Denver with Bo Nix. Nobody expected him to be ready this quickly, but sometimes when you have the right combination of physical tools, mental approach, and coaching, things click faster than expected. And right now, all those pieces seem to be aligning for Shedeur in Cleveland. But here's the reality check, and this is where Cowherd's warning becomes crucial. The NFL is littered with quarterbacks who had all the physical tools but couldn't put it together mentally. The difference between success and failure at this level often comes down to that 35% that isn't physical: the film study, the preparation, the leadership, the decision-making under pressure. Cowherd used the perfect analogy. If I told you to be successful in life, 65% is DNA, but 35% is discipline. Well, you better be disciplined. That's a big chunk of life. And that's exactly where Shedeur is right now. The DNA is there. The arm talent is there. The accuracy is there. The size and mobility are there. But that 35%, that's what will determine if he becomes the next Dak Prescott or the next cautionary tale. The encouraging thing is that so far, all signs point to Shedeur understanding this. His work ethic at Colorado was legendary. His preparation was meticulous. His leadership was obvious. And now, in his first NFL action, he's showing that same approach. Look, I know some of you are thinking, it's just one preseason game. And you're right. But sometimes one game can tell you everything you need to know about a player's potential. And Friday night told me that Shedeur Sanders has franchise quarterback written all over him. The way he stood in the pocket under pressure, the way he went through his progressions, the way he delivered the ball on time and on target. That's not luck. That's preparation meeting opportunity. And it's exactly what Cowherd has been saying about his potential. But here's what makes this story even more compelling. The narrative around Shedeur is about to change completely. He looked the part, tossing 2 touchdowns as the headliner of a 30-10 victory. And now people are starting to pay attention. The spotlight is about to get a lot brighter. This is where Cowherd's advice becomes absolutely critical. Stay away from the noise. Don't worry about what local media says. Don't get caught up in the hype or the criticism. Just focus on getting better every single day. Because here's the thing about the NFL, it's unforgiving. One minute you're the next big thing, the next minute you're a cautionary tale. The difference between those 2 outcomes usually comes down to how you handle success and how you respond to adversity. And if Shedeur can take Cowherd's advice to heart, if he can combine those elite physical tools with that championship level mentality and preparation, then Cleveland might have just found their franchise quarterback in the 5th round of the draft. The tools are there. The opportunity is there. The coaching staff believes in him. The early results are promising. Now it's up to Shedeur to prove that Colin Cowherd was right all along, that he's not just another talented quarterback, but a franchise-changing player who can bring stability to a position that has haunted Cleveland for decades. What do you think? Is Shedeur Sanders the real deal, or are we getting ahead of ourselves after one good preseason performance? And more importantly, can he avoid the pitfalls that have derailed other Browns quarterbacks and become the franchise player that Cowherd believes he can be? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and if you want to stay up to date on all the latest Shedeur Sanders news and analysis, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Because something tells me this story is just getting started, and you don't want to miss what happens next. Subscribe for more insider NFL analysis and hot takes.